Hi guys, I am super excited to show you these projects using the new Gilded leafing. This stuff is so fun, it's messy, but it's so sparkly and shiny, and there's so many different things you can use it with. Like, you're not going to just be stuck with one thing. So the first thing I want to recommend is that we'll see if that'll set off to the side so you can see it, is that you get some type of a bin with a lid. So I went to the dollar store and bought this, and I wanted it deep enough to hold everything, but big enough to hold a card, because you want to be able to, let me just show you, you want to be able to put your card down into it like that to pick up the gold leafing. So I do recommend that, because once you open up your jar, it just expands like crazy. It is, look at how shiny it is, my gosh. It's soft and it's feathery and it's crazy, you guys. I love it. So you can see there's still a little bit left in there, but like I said, the minute I opened the jar, it kind of expanded, and this just seems to be the better way to do it. I've seen lots of people doing it this way, and it's very staticky, so it, like, you want to contain it in something, and when you're just trying to pull pieces out of this jar, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So I want to show you 3 different ways to use this, and I bought one that had the little lid that connected, so if this ever fell over, the lid wouldn't come off and I would be regretting it later. So we're gonna do 3 different ways to do it. So for this first card, super easy. What you'll need is you're gonna need tear tape. So that is the card that we're gonna make. Super pretty. Look at how shiny it is. So for this to adhere, all we're going to use right now is the tear tape. Okay, so what you're going to want is, if you've purchased my class, you will get, or you would have gotten supplies like these. But the key to this is your tear tape and getting it as close to the edges as you possibly can. So when you start it, I want you to the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your tear tape and put it as close to the edge. We do not want to see any white at all, okay? And then you're going to run your next piece. Now I'm actually going to take my snips and snip this straight, and I'll show you why in a second, because when I did my original, I didn't do it this way, and it kind of messed it up a little bit. So make sure your tape kind of goes over the edge of the paper, so we're going to snip that off later. And I wanted this flat because I want to be able to put it right up against that other tape. So again, you can see I'm going right along the edges as close as I can possibly get to the edge of that. And then I'm going to snip it off. And then I'm going to come through and I'm going to snip these edges off too, because like I said, I want it to be as close to the edge as you possibly can get. Okay, and we're going to snip this one off because we don't want those ragged edges. We just wanted it over the edge so we could have a nice straight edge, if that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so you can see it's totally covering, and now we're going to do the next side too. So my tape kind of looks funny, so I'm just going to give it a snip again. Again, I'm just creating that flat edge to lay right up against that, and then you're bringing it all the way down the side. And again, I'm going to go a little bit over, but I want to make sure I'm up against the edge. I don't want to see any white, and I might have just messed that up a little bit. Okay, so I have gone ahead and put it on all 4 sides. And you can see, if you see it, you can see it's pretty close to each of them. I didn't want any white showing, which is probably not exactly perfect, but you get my drift. You want this to be as closed up as possible. So we're gonna tear off the top of it. Okay, so all 4 sides, the tape has been removed. Again, we might have a little bit of an issue here, which I'm not digging on, but you'll see exactly and you'll fix your own. So, okay, so here comes the fun part. Here is our fun stuff. And then you're gonna take this and lay it upside down in your little bin. It's crazy. Look at this, you guys. Like I said, this is so fun. I love this stuff. So I'm just taking my fingers and I am getting the excess off. And you can see now why you need this little bin, right? Because you just want to put it all right back in the bin so you can use it later. So I have given you guys some brushes if you bought the supplies from me, and I bought them at the dollar store, and you can use them to get all this little excess off. You just want a little soft brush to kind of, get off the excess. I'm just going to use my finger. You can use a sponge. You can use, but again, you want to just keep it light. You don't want to tear it. Bring it along like that. Look at how nice it cleans up. When you first pulled it out, when I first pulled it out of the bin, did you go, oh my, what's going on there? So you can see where there's excess. So you just want to keep kind of rubbing it a little bit, because what I'm doing too is I'm pushing it into the tear tape. So it's sticking to the tear tape, if that makes sense, okay? And there you go. That's the first way to do that. So again, you can see where it's kind of gotten fluffy all over. So I'm gonna put this all back into the bin, and it's very staticky too. So I did use like a dryer sheet on this, like a used dryer sheet. I kind of went around it a little bit to try to get some of the static out of it. So you might want to do that too. I've heard static guard might be a good thing to use too. You see how it's clinging to the outside there. So I'm not going to worry too much about it, but just be careful there. Again, I'm closing it up because I don't want it to go crazy. So let me show you my first example versus this one. This one actually didn't turn out as bad as I thought it would turn out. I was a little afraid because you can kind of see up here, I don't quite have the coverage I would have liked, but my frame looks actually pretty good. See, this was my first attempt, and you can see where I didn't, right in this corner here, I didn't quite get all the sticky strip that I needed. Like I didn't bring it all the way down. So it gives it a very not finished look, I guess is the thing I want to say. So again, I can't stress enough, try to put your sticky strip or your tear tape right up against each, edge. And you can even see on my sample where I didn't quite get close enough to that edge. You can still see the white there. But I think this actually looks pretty good. I actually did okay compared to my first attempt. So we're going to go ahead and use that. So then, so this suite is called the Fine Art Floral Suite. And I love this paper. This picture here does it no justice at all. So here is some of the paper out of it. It's beautiful. It's like a hand painted paper. It's so pretty. So what I've done is I have cut some out with the stitched rectangle dies, and then we're just going to lay this right on top to show the beautiful frame that we just created. And I'm not sure if there's a right or wrong way on that, but I'm just going to lay it just like that. Oh, this is so pretty. The gold is so bright and shiny. Okay. And then I did go back again to my stitched rectangles. And from the fine floral set, I think that's what it's called. Is it called that, or is it called, I think the actual stamp set is called Art Gallery, but this is actually from page 32 of the Fine Art Floral Suite, and the actual stamp set is called Art Gallery. So I only used the Art Gallery, and we're gonna grab the I'm Thinking of You, and we are going to stamp that in Poppy Parade. Maybe, right? Okay. And because this is photopolymer, I do want to use my piercing mat underneath to give it that cushion. I'm freezing, you guys. Perfect. Okay. And then I'm using a Poppy Parade base. So you're just going to fold it corner to corner. Okay, so what I'm going to do to give it just a little bit of depth to it is I'm going to go back to my Art Gallery stamp set, and I'm going to grab this one, and I'm just going to stamp. Oh, I need my pad back here. I'm going to just stamp around the outside just so it's not just plain paper. Just to give it a little something extra there, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, I just want it to have a little bit more depth around it. It just seemed really plain when I just had it laying up against the Poppy Parade. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's okay. So there you go. So you can see I just created like that frame around there. And then we can go ahead and put our piece on top of it. See how it just makes it a little bit nicer. And leave that there. And then I am going to take this piece of fun metallic ribbon. It's kind of a twiny ribbon, and I'm just going to give it a little snip this way. I think that's okay there. That side just looked bad. And then I'm going to take some tear tape to help hold it down. Just lay it across like that. Oops. Pull it up. And I'm going to put it a little bit lower, I think. There you go. And then take the Thinking of You, and we'll use some dimensionals on that. Use 3, one for the middle too, to make sure it doesn't collapse on itself. Oh, you have your really pretty, beautiful, simple Thinking of You card. I think I will trim this down just a little here. So there you go. There is your first use of the gilded leafing. Super easy. Okay, our second card, you will need your Whisper White base. This is Rococo Rose, and this fun little stitched piece here. You guys, have you noticed this stitched piece? This is in the mini catalog. It's called Whimsy Dies, and I didn't even really notice it, and I should have looked for the page so you could look at it. But it's the page with the dogs on it, and I just happened to be looking at the dogs going, oh, you know, I like dogs. Oh, it's on page 72 of the mini catalog, Stitched with Whimsy. So see, aren't those cute? Look at that. It just gives it that white piece a little something extra. So it's not cutting anything. It's just stitching into the cardstock. So if you're looking for a new, different, interesting depth on your cards, this is a good one. So that's Stitched with Whimsies with Whimsy Dies on page 72 of the mini catalog. Okay, so this next technique uses your Tombow glue. So you will need Tombow glue. So the first thing you're going to do is I'm actually going to just go ahead and put the base together, and the Rococo Rose just goes on top of it. We're not doing any stamping with this part of it, so just to kind of get it out of the way, we're going to put glue on it here on the edges. And okay, so that's going to be your base. Give it a little rub there. And now we're going to go ahead and stamp this piece. So make sure you have your pad underneath. And we're still using the same stamp set. And I'm actually using Blushing Bride, excuse me, and Rococo Rose. So what you'll do is the bigger stamp, so the more full stamp. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that again. And then we're going to use the Rococo Rose to do the layer over it. Okay. Beautiful. Perfect. And when it dries, it'll start to dry lighter. Like when you look at that, I use the exact same inks. It'll dry a little bit lighter. So stamp with the Pear Pizzazz. The stem. Beautiful. And you probably want to, I maybe didn't move it over far enough. We'll see if I did or not, because we want to come back through with the happy birthday, and we want to stamp that in the Rococo Rose. Oh, I did, I think we're okay. Perfect. So you can see the Rococo Rose there. All right. So I'm going to close these ink pads up real quick so I don't put my hand in them, because you know I will if I don't. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to take a little bit of the Tombow, and I'm just going to see how I'm just have a little bit of a line. I don't want it to be thick. Okay, I just want it, sorry, that was my scrub. I've kind of made it thinner, like I don't want a thick line, okay? I'm just highlighting pieces here. So I'm just going to go over it with the tip so it's not quite as thick. So let me show you my sample again. So see how I've just kind of, I've chosen places where I want it to be. You put it wherever you want. Now that is way too thick, so I'm picking it up with the tip, and I'll add a little bit over here. Okay, I don't want that much glue. It's going to be too hard to control it with that much glue. So you just kind of want to, you know, hit it where you think. I'm going to put some right in the middle too. And again, you just want thin pieces of it. And I'm just going to let it kind of sit a little bit, okay? I'm giving it a little bit of air. I don't want it to totally dry, but I want it to be tacky. I don't want it to be wet after we just used it. So I think what I'll do while we're waiting for it to dry, just carefully turn it over and we'll put it on the base of the card. And I'm just going to put some right there. Be careful not to put your glue right along the stitching because it will come through the card. So I'm just going to put this on the base while we're kind of waiting patiently for it to the glue to kind of get tacky. Okay, you could take a heat gun too to do that if you wanted to, and I think I'm going to do that to speed up the process just a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of hit it a little bit with heat to make it tacky. Okay, so now we're going to grab, let's close up the glue. We're going to grab our little container and we're going to, this time I think what I'm going to do is just take pieces. Look at it, light, fluffy, oh my goodness. And I'm going to just put it right where the glue is, okay? That's all you're doing. Isn't this fun, you guys? Oh my gosh, when you start playing with this, you're going to go, where have you been all my life? Okay. So I'm rubbing it into the glue and I'm just patting it with my finger. So now I'm rubbing it off with my finger to make sure I have all the gold leaf in, and then making sure that the glue is covered. Like I feel like this is not covered right here, so I'm going to add some more. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is, like I said, it's light, fluffy, soft, and I feel like there's not enough right here either, so I'm just going to take my thumb. And again, you can use a sponge or a little brush, a soft brush to do this. I don't mind getting dirty, so that's why I'm doing it here. Okay. You can see the static everywhere of this. And you can actually see where I probably smeared some glue. And I didn't do a very good job. Like you can see where I kind of smeared it around. So be real careful, unless you don't care that your card is totally gold foiled, which I don't care. I think it gives it a little extra something. I don't like that, but you get the point. So that's another way for you to adhere the gold leafing. So you can see it's going to be different every time, and I wasn't real careful there. So you can see the difference of what's going on there. Okay, so like I said, let your glue get a little tacky, not totally wet. So I'm thinking I probably hit it somehow, like with the tip, and didn't realize I had done that. So again, you just have to be real careful where you want to put it. Like this one seems to, I actually let this one sit off to the side a little bit before I messed with it. So you might want to try that too. So those are the two different. So again, that's just using glue. If that's all you have, that's what you can do. All right. So that was the second card. All right. Our third card is this card here. Pretty, is it not pretty, pretty, pretty? So you would have gotten, if you got supplies from me, you would have gotten a jar of heat and stick powder. So I'm going to show you how to use that, make it a little bit different. But first, let's get our stamping done. So you are going to take your piercing mat again, because you always should have that with the photopolymer. And I am going to take the full image with Bermuda Bay. And I'm going to stamp it here. On my piece. All right, the stamp pad is on the ground. I'm going to not wash it again. Okay, so we're going to cut this out first. So I'm going to show you the mini, the little boss for doing little cutouts. So if you have not seen this, this is the mini. It's perfect for these little things like this. Of course, I got dog hair on it because it was sitting on my floor. So it works the exact same way that the bigger one does. It comes with actually 4 plates. There's a gray plate for embossing, but I just want to use this for cutting out the one image. So it's great. This doesn't take the big dies, but for die cutting like this, it's great. So you can see it has on the base how things should be cut. So you're going to have, this is base 1, and it's saying you put that down first, and then it's got, you have 2 of 2s. You see the 2 on there, the 2 on there. So you're going to put 1 down, just like the old Big Shot. And I'm going to actually put it that way. And I'm going to put the die down. And I'm actually going to grab a little Post-it note because I noticed we're starting to have a little bit of warping in the plate, like all plates warp as you use them, and I've been using this little guy a lot. It's very convenient just to have the small machine sitting there. So again, you're using it just like you would the Big Shot or so we're calling this guy the Little Boss and the other one the Big Boss. So this is the Little Boss. And out of the way, close up his little wings, and we have it all cut out. Awesome sauce, right? There you go. Perfect. Okay, I'll put that away so I don't lose it, which I will. I'll go looking for it in a little bit going, where did I put that? Okay. So this is a little different technique. I wanted you to see all different ways to do it because you can do it with your heat gun or you can do it without your heat gun. Like if you have the glue or the sticky strip. Also our adhesive sheets, you can do it with that too. So if you would cut out like the words with those adhesive sheets, you'd have the sticky side on the one side and you can put that foil. It's beautiful. So I'm going to show you how to use this with the Versamark and the heat gun. So you would need Versamark, and we want to come back in with the other two-step stamp that goes with this. So make sure you get it inked up good. And I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to leave that there for a second though, since I want to grab this real quick. So you're going to take your heat and stick powder and just, mine's an older one. I had kept it from before because we used to sell it before. So I'm just, mine's probably lumpier than yours will be. Okay. And I probably should not have cut this out before I did this, but it's okay. We will be just fine. I'll show you what we're going to do, which will make it a little easier for me to do. I'm going to actually grab my poker here, and I'm going to hold it down while I emboss it so don't burn my hands. So now the key to this is do not do this for a long period of time. You will start to see the powder turn clear. Once that happens, you want to stop embossing. Otherwise, you're just going to make it hard. The whole point of this is to make it sticky, okay? So let's see. See how it's turned on that side, turned on that side, and that's all you need is that. So then I'm going to come back with my gold flakes. I'm going to stick it in the bucket. I'm pressing down on it to make sure it does not just look like a hot mess. But then when you start actually removing it, Oh my gosh. And I'm pushing down too to make sure that my gold leaf is actually in the heat and stick powder. And you can use your sponge or a little soft brush to get all the gold off of it. Look at it, you guys. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at the shine on it. It's beautiful, just beautiful. So let's finish our card. Pretty easy, huh? You guys, are you going, where has this been all my life? This is like life-changing, right? So if you got supplies from me, this is your base. You will need your cutter for this. You are going to cut off an inch from this side. So I'm going to pull out my cutter real quick. And bring it that way. I'm just cutting that. And then, oops, you want to grab your tear tape again. And you're going to put your tear tape right up against this edge. Do not go, you want it, again, this is one of those where you want it as close to the edge as you possibly can get. You don't have a lot of room to spare here. So hold on here. We're going to do that. Okay. And you don't have to bring it all the way down, but you do want it to run the whole length. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this off. And then I'm going to take this piece, which, by the way, if you have supplies for me, you have to pull off this protective piece off of the back of this, okay? So you might want to stop me right now and pull that off. And then I'm going to lay this down corner to corner and edge to edge. Make sure you are square. And with this hand, I'm holding it down, and then I'm bringing the card down to hook to it. That's why it's so important that you get right along the edge, because it is a close one. And I can feel some of that right there. So I'm actually going to come back with my erase base. Then you're going to come through with this piece, and I need and I'm going to grab my memento and my stem. Oops. Might have inked up my memento a little too much. I'm going to move that over. And do that. Perfect. And then I'm going to come through and grab some dimensionals here. And I got one more right here. Okay. I actually want to, and I probably have a little extra gold there, but that's all right. It just is so shiny. Okay, so there you go there. And then we're going to come through with this little piece here, which I got off the same suite. I tried to use, the only thing that I didn't use from this suite is the rectangle stitch dies. I just love those anyway. So so we're gonna use, I'm thinking of you again. We'll use it with memento. And stamp that piece. Beautiful. And, whoops. And I'm going to pop that up as well. And use those pieces I just cut. Oh, that's perfect. But before I do that though, let's go ahead and put this on the actual card so we can kind of see where everything sits. Right. So we're going to take this and put it right there. So I'm kind of framing it out. You can see that. And then we're going to take some more of this beautiful gold ribbon. I'm just going to knot it, not right in the middle, but kind of up toward the top there. Trim that away a little bit with our ribbon scissors. Easy peasy. Isn't that pretty against the Bermuda? And then we'll take our little tag. And just stick it right across here. How's that? And that'll kind of help hold the ribbon down there too. See how it kind of slides underneath? And that is the third way on how you can use the beautiful gilded leafing. So we did 3 awesome cards. So let's go back and look at those real quick. So first one was tear tape. Second one was glue. And the third one was the heat and stick powder. And I'm actually gonna switch out. That one keeps wanting to pop up, so you can lay them flat there. So aren't those beautiful, you guys? I love this suite so much, and I hope it carries over into the annual catalog because I love it so much. So I hope you got some great ideas and you had fun, and I hope you don't find gold leafing all over in the morning. All right, you guys, have a great day and happy stamping.